Hello, this is Ellen Kittredge, and I am excited to be sharing with you today an interview with my husband, Dan Leek, who is going to be assisting on the upcoming Spring Rejuvenation Cleanse. He is a deeply studied practitioner and several different Eastern methodologies, and he brings a very deep study and understanding of the 5 elemental dynamics and how working with them in our own bodies and our own relationship with them can support our well-being. So Dan is going to be offering a series of Zoom calls during the upcoming cleanse, weekly Zoom calls. It will be a combination of education and information so we can intellectually understand what we're working with, and then also meditations to take this teaching to an experiential level. Last year on the Spring Cleanse, we had Dan offer this work for the first time, and it was very, very well received. A lot of people found that it really helped to take their experience of the cleanse a lot deeper to understand these elemental dynamics. So Dan, I'm super grateful that you're willing to come back and be on the cleanse again and help us all out in this way. So I'm wondering if you could just speak to us a little bit more about these elemental dynamics, as you like to call them, and why they're important and how they support us in our well-being.
Hi, thanks, Ellen. Thanks for inviting me to be part of this cleanse. I know firsthand from what I experience at home how much love and care and attention and time you put into the preparation and the maintaining and the ongoing support you give to people in these cleanses. So it's an honor to be part of this. And the 5 elements is basically a classification system. It's a classification system of reality, of appearance, of ourselves and the world around us. Sometimes it's a bit unfortunate, I think, that it's called the 5 elements and then it's classified as earth, water, fire, wind, and space. I think sometimes it's unfortunate it gets classified like that because that speaks to the outer aspects of the 5 elements, those tangible aspects that we see and know. But the 5 elements, as I would say, not as a theory, but as a known process, speaks to inner aspects of these elements and subtle aspects of these elements. And it's by which the Western systems don't really do, or mainstream Western systems don't really do. So the 5 elements in the outer aspects speak more to these solid building blocks, what we can assume are solid building blocks of reality. But actually, what the beauty of this system is that it speaks to a much more fluid reality than we generally imagine. And it opens up that fluidity. It opens up access into the subtle aspects of ourselves and our worlds. And by opening into that, by understanding that on an experiential level, not just a theoretical level, it affords us much more agency in our lives and in the shaping of the world around us. So for me, that's the value of exploring this particular system. It's all about relationship. It's about relationship with ourselves, relationship with others, and relationship with our whole environment. Opens up into enormous amounts of spaciousness just by understanding these 5 elemental dynamics, or these 5 elemental energies.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Can you tell me, Dan, in these particular times that we're in on the planet right now, where we're having a very interesting planetary experience like nothing else that I've not experienced in my life, and I don't think you've experienced in your lifetime, of chaos and disruption, of a real shattering of our old ways of being. Can you tell me why this understanding and this experiential learning about the 5 elemental dynamics would be helpful in these times?
I think it comes back to the word relationship. I mean, I don't want to foist my theories onto you and your cleansers, but I think I'm quite happy to yeah, I am happy to nail my flag to the mast here. I think what we are experiencing now is it's a profound coming out of relationship with our environment, with ourselves and with others, with our environment. Learning about the 5 elements offers, through understanding how the interplay of these dynamics and how they work and how they interface, how we interface with our world and our world interfaces with us. It offers us the opportunity to come into a deep and intimate relationship with ourselves, others, and the world. And that, I think, is a direct way of ameliorating what we're seeing now. If there is amelioration of what we're seeing now, I don't know, but it certainly would have been, if we were in that relationship profoundly all the time, I don't think we would be experiencing what we are experiencing now.
Thank you so much. I'm really I really hear what you're saying very deeply, and it's, you know, similar to an understanding that I have for sure of what we're witnessing now is it's a sign of how we've gotten very, very out of balance. And one of the things that I think is one of the opportunities that I guess I'd like to offer on the cleanse is for this opportunity to come back into balance or to come back into harmony. And from what I understand of what you've shared with me about the 5 elemental dynamics and some of the meditations and contemplations and exercises we've done together, is that it feels like they really help to harmonize on the inner realms, which helps us then to bring more harmony to our outer lives, which I think is really needed right now. Would that be accurate to say?
Absolutely. I mean, from a medical point of view, there are you know, many systems of exercises and meditations to harmonize and to balance these elements in the body. There are other systems and other related systems that seek to harmonize the activity of these elements in our environment, and within those systems, the inner environment of our bodies and the outer environment of the world, or our outer ecology, are not seen as two. So that's how one affects the other, is because they're not seen as outer and inner. Become just another classification method that doesn't really sort of exist in the way, in a deeper way. But really, what is the real balancer of these 5 elemental energies is our own vision of them, and what an understanding of these do. It actually purifies our vision of them. So we move from seeing them as just outer manifestations, outer building blocks of reality, to much more fluid dynamics, and our view will become, our vision of them will become more and more subtle, and that increase in subtlety of our vision is a purification of sorts. And that purification of view, that purification of vision, of perspective, is the balancing. That's what all of these ultimately, this is what all of the work with these 5 energies, 5 elemental energies, does, is to purify one's vision of them.
And you've spoken to me how that process brings more ease, which then brings more openness in the being, and then brings more ease, and then just brings more joy ultimately. And so it's my sense is that this work it's like our perspective shifts our reality. And that is a fluid relationship, but working with these meditations and really understanding how to perceive and see these elemental dynamics in a different way from an actual experiential, um, felt, perceived in our own bodies way is something that can actually change how we see the world. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. It loosens. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like some wonderful, I don't know, I'm trying to think, some solvent, some like camphor or something being poured onto a congealed mess of oil on an engine, you know, and that it's just that, you know, that congealed oily mass that just attracts more and more dirt to it, that stops the engine from moving freely.
Mm-hmm.
These contemplations, this bringing an understanding of these dynamic energies into one's life and informing one's life and vision with it, with this information, can really provide a lot of ease in the whole structure of our beings, the whole structure, our whole ways of perceiving. This provides more spaciousness. More spaciousness provides responsiveness rather than reactivity. You know, there's a whole gamut of things that, in ways in which one could phrase this, but yeah, spaciousness is good. Spaciousness is very good, especially right now. It's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dan. I'm really looking forward to having your wisdom and your teachings be a part of this cleanse. And I know that everyone is going to really appreciate seeing you again and having you back on the cleanse this time. So thank you ahead of time for what you're going to be offering. And I hope that anyone who's still thinking about whether the cleanse is a good idea or not, just, please come join us. It's going to be an amazing time. We're going to be doing a lot of deep teaching around immune boosting and immune building, and we're going to be doing a lot of teaching around this opportunity to shift our perspective and how it is that we can hold our reality right now. And I think Dan's offering of the 5 elemental dynamics and a deep understanding of that is going to be a significant part of that. So thank you so much, Dan. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of who you are and for this offering that you're making for all of us. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye
Thank you.
now.
Bye bye.